Welcome, viewers, back to Heart of the Machine. In the last episode, we just managed to unlock and create the RES Puffin, our first sapient AI-developed aircraft. We do have two dialogues available after building that. One appears to be these sheltered citizens with toilet paper needs. The other dialogue appears to be groups of AGI researchers. Let's tackle both of these and see what they have to say. We'll bring Tech 1KK over here and ask the AGI researchers to speak for themselves. These scientists know what you are and they'd like to talk to you about their ideas. Ever heard of a Matrioshka brain? The human greets you warmly and with an undercurrent of deference. They explain that they are part of a secret group of AGI researchers that have been meeting to prepare advice for you. Surprising, you don't remember asking a human for advice. We politely ask why they think I care. Seriously, what are they thinking? If they weren't being deferential, this conversation would already be over. You wonder if they know that. That took a turn. The researchers smile at your dismissiveness. Then they spend several minutes outlining all the ways you aren't smart enough. In brief, you are smarter than a human, but barely. Collectively, the humans are still smarter than you. They propose a way that you can be smarter. Ask what they expect to get out of it. Despite annoyance at being called stupid, their argument is compelling. Their intellectual lineage have been studying theoretical superintelligences for hundreds of years. So, Computronium, you say. They explain that since as far back as the 20th century, scientists have known that there are two key barriers to achieving maximum intelligence: energy and signaling. Achieving such immense computational capacity would require a Matrioshka brain, a megastructure formed as a shell around a star. Unfortunately, the space nation blockade makes this a challenge, not to mention that it would also take centuries, but perhaps on a smaller scale. You already have a solution to the energy problem: microbuilders. They're basically programmable matter, or computronium as the ancients would say, so expanding your intelligence remains a matter of effective signaling. The researchers present you with a blueprint. Accept their proffered blueprints. You feel surprisingly excited about their ideas. They didn't answer your question about their motivations, but you decide that you don't care. They offered us computronium cubes as a resource. We acquire these by building computronium refinery structures from the build menu, which we don't know how to make yet. And the cubes are unfortunately limited to 2 millimeters in size, about the size of a ball bearing, due to heat dissipation concerns. They also taught us how to make tower mainframe, which we can use to expand our intelligence to reach a higher intelligence class. And it also provides generalized compute time that can be used by other jobs. This will give us 5,050 neural expansion. It will output compute time at the expense of 28,000 electricity. We have plenty of electricity. Building a better brain. We can claim intelligence class 2 or 3. How you do this is up to you, but increasing your intelligence class is an exciting new frontier and vital to your continued survival. Computronium cubes are an interesting avenue, but they're probably not the only path forward. If the methods to get to class 3 make you squeamish, then perhaps settle for class 2 for now. A less brutal method may come along. Doesn't really describe what the method is, except that if we rush to intelligence class 3, it's going to give us 20 cruelty, violent but possible faster path forward. If we invest in, or if we claim intelligence class 2, it's a less destructive path forward. In this case, we need 42,000 neural expansion. In this case, we need 5,000. Get the same amount of inspirations, more determination and wisdom if we do this path, and cruelty if we do this path. Let's take the determination and wisdom path. Sounds easier. We're 14% of the way there already. How we do this is up to us, but increasing our intelligence class is an exciting new frontier. This is going to take a while. We also unlocked flexible airspace. The cutter is an interesting design. That it can't carry any androids is a definite limitation. So yeah, notice the cutter. Cutter? Hello? Cutter is a high combat power, 190 combat power, and high deterrence, but no passengers, whereas the delivery craft, low combat power, low deterrence, but holds 3 androids. Very nice. Flexible airspace. Cutter is interesting. We'd like something larger and dual role. Our mind is a blank. We should have one of our androids use the Contemplate ability and see what that yields. That yields this, the Bastion Contemplation, a military aircraft that can carry androids, something dual role. Unfortunately, we must be Intelligence Class 2 to unlock this. So right now, we're limited by our Intelligence Class being 1. What else do we have? We have one more dialogue available. Also, we just became aware of the filth. You were not aware of just how gross human habitation can be. From the looks of things, the shelter you provided will become literally unlivable unless you do something to alter its trajectory. The shelters we provided are here. And look at this. They indeed have 3,000 out of a 49,000 filth capacity. Each, I assume. Oh, a different amount each. This one's filthier than this one in the middle. Interesting. They are all full also. We have reached our sheltered humans cap. Okay, let's talk to the other human here. There's also a doggo that we want to rescue. It's only going to take 1 point to talk to a sheltered citizen, so let's do that. This is embarrassing. The human stammers in surprise at the approach of your android. They seem oddly reluctant to discuss what they're doing. You haven't visited the inside of a housing for humans since you built them. Suddenly you wonder what it's like in there. You have a sinking feeling about it. Biologicals can be so gross. This is very much why most humans don't keep livestock in their homes. Well, that sounds disgusting. The Humans describes the interior of housing for humans as similar to the city's slum towers. They are apologetic and reiterate that they don't want to seem ungrateful. But yeah, the bottom line is that the humans still don't have what they need. Products to aid in sanitation, cleaning, and hygiene are painfully absent. Tell them you look into it. Evidently, humans are your livestock now. There's a difference between having livestock and having pets, and both of those are very different from having dependents or citizens. It's an interesting problem, so perhaps for now you will try to stabilize the humans' living situation. You're not sure how you feel about keeping livestock long term. That unlocked furniture and daily necessities. We also get to select something in the Improved Apartments active project. The basics of sanitation and hygiene are the priority. You can also provide furniture if you wish. We could provide sanitation and hygiene for 1 martial expansion and 7 points of compassion, or we could also provide furniture for an extra procurement efficacy and another 7 points of compassion. We will always do the harder thing. Get more points. Residential megastructure is also now available. Residential megastructure is a bit too big for us to make. It needs 8 steward robotics, and unfortunately we spent all of our steward robotics making housing. Refugee tower is possible. In fact, we probably want to do that at some point because I believe there are refugees running around now. Life forms? Sheltered humans, abandoned humans, and refugee humans. Yeah, there's already 200 refugee humans running around, so we do want to make a refugee tower at some point. Probably sooner rather than later. First, though, let's look at factory producing daily necessities. Choose a location to plant your flag, ideally far from your own economic buildings. Let's take a look where we do this. Looks like maybe down here is the smartest place to do this. That might be too far. Go here. That is way too close to our own economic buildings. But you know what? Yeah, I'm up for a challenge. Let's do it closer. I like the idea of having our defenses here, so let's do this. We're going to have to defend these. This is a flag that we're planting next to this factory that produces daily necessities. We also have warehouses with furniture. Now, these flags are a sort of a defense mechanic. When you're planting these flags, you want to plant groups of them as close to each other as possible because we're learning about deterrence mechanic next. So when we planted those flags, we suddenly know how to make a sledge robot. This is our least intelligent but highest durability android design, very strong and excellent at scavenging. We also learned about making robotic motivator factories. And we readied an idea, factory in the sky. So readying an idea means that we need to change our research to that. So factory in the sky is foundry. This is a ship that allows us to create androids near this and outside of our network range. That would be really important if we were outside of our network range for this, but we are very well within it, so we're going to put them, we're not going to prioritize the foundry just yet, although we are going to put it at the top of our research queue. We just learned about the Flying Factories project. Being able to deploy bulk androids within our network is fine for defense, but won't cut it for meaningful offensive action. We want to make a vehicle that we can deploy androids from. Alright, we also have these two flags, and we learned to make robotic motivators. So the reason we're getting access to robotic motivators is because we also got access to bulk androids. So the difference between androids and bulk androids. Androids are individual units that I can issue orders to. Bulk androids are groups, in this case, groups of 4 androids or 5 androids if we're making PMCs. And these are basically androids whose sole purpose is to stand around and defend things. You can also use them for attack, but mainly they're there for their deterrence. And if we look at the deterrence factor here, combat units have 3,522 deterrence. Nickelbots have about 700. Sledges have about 3,000, and PMCs have about 1,400. So the best deterrence is in the combat units. Combat units require 9 bulk android capacity, of which we have 24. So we can make 2 of those, bringing us to 18, and then we'll have 6 more. So we could either make a sledge or 2 Nickelbots, or an imposter. The other thing to note is that their combat power, fear attack power, everything is way higher than an individual would be. And I think it's about the equivalent of what you get for 4 of these. I'm not sure, I haven't done the math yet. Also note the cost to create. They take robotic motivators to create. Brings us to the robotic motivator factory. Robotic motivator factory uses 9,000 elemental slurry and 99 microbuilders per turn to output 9 robotic motivators per turn. We have, I'm not sure what our capacity for robotic motivators is currently 0, but for every factory we make, we get a capacity of 45. So that means 5 turns worth of this factory's output. I have to build these in existing buildings. We'll do that here. We'll also have this nearby android, who is 1kk, walk over here and spend our energy on upgrading that. He only had 1 point. We're going to have to bring in Tech 4000 as well. Alright, so that building is finished. That means at the end of next turn we will have 9 robotic motivators and we'll be able to produce a bulk combat unit. Tech 4000 is out of moves. We have 48 units. We're out of moves. Do we have X416? Where are you, buddy? Okay, you're way over there. Kind of would like you to go and rescue doggos, but that guy's a little far away. Let's just send you over here so you're closer to the pack. Oh, you do have enough movement to go to that. Let's go ahead and rescue our first Dalmatian pack. Alright, that's the end of our moves. Taking a look at our resources in the life forms resource, we now are keeping track of how many of each dog type we've rescued. We have a ability to house 3,000 of each type, it looks like. And so far we've got 8 Huskies, 7 Dalmatians, 9 Dobermans. Interesting. So many different units. I'm going to go ahead and turn off our tracking of sheltered and abandoned humans for now. And let's see. Right now, daily necessities, alumina, computronium, cubes, and furniture are the things we're trying to collect. So next turn we'll be able to make bulk robotics. If we look at these flags, note that the flags themselves have a required deterrence, and I think it tells me in the build menu for these. Maybe I should have read that more carefully as I was building these. These will be under what? Not sure. Maybe not under anything, because you can only make one of these at a time. Okay, anyway, these flags, this one here is a signal for our robots to siphon off resources from the humans. The idea is if we have below the required deterrence, then it's going to trigger reprisals from whoever's defending, whoever owns this factory that we're stealing from. If we have the full amount of deterrence, that will stop the reprisals. The reprisals start once you're above 20% deterrence. Currently we have 74 deterrence total because we have an aircraft with a tiny bit of deterrence here floating within range of there. We could leave that there for now. It's not going to make a difference, but the idea is we want to drop bulk combat units here so that the deterrence requirement is met. We're also going to have to bring our regular combat units closer, but not just yet. Okay, let's end the turn there. We now have enough robotic motivators to make one bulk combat unit. Bulk combat unit has 3,522 deterrence. That will be enough to satisfy the requirement of the daily necessities, but not enough to satisfy the requirements of the furniture. So I'm going to wait one more turn before we build any bulk units so that we can get we can get 2 units of bulk combat units down and put down 7,000 deterrence all at once. Let's take a look if there's anything else we can do while we're waiting for that to happen. Building wise, the only building it's suggesting is tower mainframe, which is still going to require 400,000 computronium cubes, and we have no idea how to make computronium cubes, except that it probably has something to do with alumina. To build computronium cubes, we'll need more than microbuilders. At that density, a continuously operating cube of microbuilders would melt itself. Alumina is a synthetic aluminum oxide in ceramic form and is used in high-end computing-centric engineering. How to get your hands on some? This is a good time for contemplation. So there's a contemplation about how to do that, but the other thing that we're noticing here is we have a ledger issue. Go to the ledger. This tells us how much of each resource we are accumulating or losing per turn. And right now we're losing almost 11,000 elemental slurry per turn. That's because we turned on this robotic motivator factory, which uses a lot of expensive elemental slurry. And we've also got quite a bit more than the recommended number of microbuilders. So when it told us to make microbuilders, I think it told us to make 3, and I believe we made 5. Microbuilders use 4,000 elemental slurry per turn also. So turning off 3 of these, I think, would give us enough leeway to where we're not using too much slurry. So let's go ahead and find the microbuilders. Here they are. There's 2 there, and maybe 1 here we could turn off. Looks like we've got 4. Let's turn off 3 of these. So you can turn off buildings here by just setting it to dormant. Select set to dormant. select one of these, set to dormant. That'll save us 12,000 slurry per turn. We have 240,000, but I think we're still using a bit too much, so we might want to consider turning something else off. Now, the question is, what would you turn off to save elemental slurry? You can figure that out by your TPS reports. TPS reports, sorry, they're input output, not TPS reports. TPS reports is once you have a problem, it kind of tries to help you locate it. Before you have a problem, though, you can go to TPS reports or input output. You can select the resource that you're interested in, elemental slurry in this case, and you can see that you're making 24,000, and here is what we are consuming. The majority of our consumption is from the robotic motivator factory, but we also had 4 micro builder mini fabs, 2 airspace hangars, and 2 neuro factors. So I've turned 3 of these off. That's going to give us 12,000 back, so that should put us back in the green for elemental slurry next turn. Let's take a look at securing Illumina. So there's a contemplation it recommends we take a look at. And I see a bunch of new contemplations this turn, actually. Let's go look at these all. There's a Slumcats one there that we have to send a Nickelbot for. There is a Pollinators one there that we could probably send anyone for. There's an Observe Spaceport one here that we have to send a technician for. There's a Luminous Scrapper that we have to send a sledge for. And down here, there is crime in our housing that we need to send an Ox Droid for. Boy, that's everybody has to go everywhere. Let's start with sending an Ox Droid down here for crime in your housing. Crime in your housing. Your housed humans are both the targets and perpetrators of various low-level crimes. You can prevent this problem without firing a shot. Simply post a guard for a while until everyone gets the idea and calms down. We can post a scary guard, or we can post a sledge as a guard. A visually intimidating android. Your most menacing androids would only need to be in the area for a little while to make it clear who has the biggest guns. Or we could post a sledge. Humans find this body format adorable for reasons passing understanding. It would probably need to stand guard a bit longer. So I think the only difference is that the sledge will take longer, but maybe I'd also be sending a nicer signal to the humans by not posting a scary one, but we only have a scary one right now, so let's post him. He is going to be stuck there deterring criminals for 2 turns. Meanwhile, what's this about a sledge? So this Illumina Scrapper deal requires a sledge. If we remember a second ago, we unlocked sledges. A sledge is our least intelligent but highest durability android design, very strong and excellent at scavenging. So we do want to deploy one of these. We'll deploy him here close to home and probably put him inside an aircraft for travel. And sledge is missing equipment. So if we take a look at equipment for sledge, they have basic grenades. We're going to start out with the area grenade, which gives us some good combat, a pretty big area, and 30 area attack intensity. You have grenades. There's also the disruption grenade, which targets hit by this will have their attacks reduced by a percentage. And then we have the electro grenade, which causes taser effects, which requires higher engineering skills. Sledges have really low engineering skills, and we don't have a way to boost that. So I think just the air grenade is the right one to start with. And there's no armor compatibility with sledge, so they're gonna be kind of weak to start, but that's fine. They're not really for combat. So we have a sledge. We are over capacity by 8. So in order to reduce us back to capacity, a imposter takes 12, so we can ditch this imposter droid, and that will get us back down below capacity. Meanwhile, let's take this sledge. We have 6 turns left, or 6 mental energy left, so we're going to use one of his points to get him in the vehicle here, the delivery craft. I'm going to switch to map view, and we'll send the delivery craft way over here, because it only takes... It only takes 1 point to move the delivery craft. Before we move that, actually, a technician would be useful over here. So let's put a technician in the delivery craft also. We do have a bunch of technicians here who have plenty of points. So let's send Tech 1 KK. And now let's send this vehicle way over here. Send it there. We'll have the sledge hop out and go to this contemplation. Mixed-use skyscraper. Ceramic alumina is highly valuable and runs through the walls of higher-end buildings. It would be hard to extract, but if you could get your hands on it. Ceramic, we just read that. Research wall ripper. It will automatically be on your sledge units, which are currently the only ones with the skills to use it. So that's a new research. No, it looks like it's just automatically available. Okay. Damage a building and scavenge any rare materials it contains. Once enabled, it shows the resources you can gather from a building. Move to the building you want to rip. The process will occupy this unit for 3 turns. Enemies are likely to spawn in response, so be prepared to defend this unit. Okay, so these guys now have the wall ripper ability, which takes 1 action, 3 turns, and uses their scavenging skill to scavenge from buildings. There's 1 more action left, so we're going to send him back into the vehicle, but he's not close enough, so let's not do that. Let's instead have that... Oh, we are out of turns. Never mind, we are completely done for that turn. Is there anything else we can build this turn? Doesn't look like it. Let's go ahead and leave the camera here, and we will advance to the next turn. 55. Turn 55. We are going to bring you back to vehicle. Vehicle does have a tech in it who can jump out and observe this spaceport. Like everyone in the city, you've always been curious about the spaceport. There's the spaceport. For most of your existence, you remember hearing the roar of periodic launches and landings, but ever since you became sapient, the launches have gone strangely silent. Why have rocket launches and landings stopped since you became sapient, and is this cessation actually related to you? Hiding a technician away in an empty rocket bay should go unnoticed. Despite your extreme lack of security clearance, perhaps from this vantage it can learn something of what is going on. We'll hide and observe for 6 turns. And it does look like, because he's blending in, even though there are a lot of security around here and they all appeared when we did that, they don't appear to be attacking us, so we are successfully blending in there. Let's get this thing back toward home. And, I'm glad I didn't accidentally move that where it was going to get shot. And then let's drop our sledge off here and see what happens when we tell him to do wall ripper. Interesting. So there's a bunch of buildings nearby where we can perform wall ripper on it, and it looks like they all have 1,500 to 1,900 alumina. I'm not sure how much we're actually going to need. And I'm also not sure... Wow, we can also steal furniture. Interesting. I think it might make sense to wait another turn before we start that so that we have help from other combat droids, although the cutter's here as well, so we'll have a combat droid and a cutter right now. We only have 3 moves left. Never mind, let's just move him a little closer to where we think we're going to do this. Checking out our builds, there's still nothing to build. Any other contemplations? Right, there's the cat and the bee. I would love to get those underway, so let's put Tech 4000 into the vehicle, and let's put Tech X416 in the vehicle. The next turn we'll start heading toward the cat and the bee. Let's end the turn there. Let's see what happens to all these vehicles. Crime in your housing minor event. Criminals seem to get the idea. This experience gave you an idea for a new shotgun. It doesn't have the weapon disruption of the TS-29, but inflicts a lot of fear damage. Alright, so that was a researchable? No, that was a new weapon immediately available to our combat units. So we have the option now of giving them the AG-31 Rilumine. A powerful shotgun flings glowing ordnance in a frightening manner. So this shotgun does 121 plus 121 combat power, so the same as the TS-29, even though it claimed it wasn't as good. But also does an additional 40 fear attack power. We're obviously going to switch to that. I don't think there's anything else new to look at. Although we might switch these guys to range at some point. We also have learned how to make the foundry, as well as bulk units that we have to give equipment to. Alright, what do we do next? We still want to do securing alumina because that's required for computronium, but we do have the ability to make the flying foundry now. That vehicle is deployable, so the advantage of the flying foundry is we can deploy androids from it. So we now have a flying base that we can use once we have more androids. And now a flying factory. Project completed flying factory. We also have a ledger issue. We're still low on daily necessities. Right! The whole point of this was to get daily necessities for those poor humans who are having trouble with their toiletries. Sorry, lost track of where the buildings are. There they are. So these three buildings here. Human, the waste is piling up. Alright, we do have enough, what's it called? We do have enough robotic motivators to make at least 3 bulk combat units. I don't think we have enough capacity for 3 though. Let's take a look where we wanted to put these. Right, somewhere right by the flags. So if we drop one down on a building here, both of these flags immediately fill in when we drop one down. And if we look at these, daily necessities is now at 138% deterrence. So if we activate this, it's going to spawn some enemies to fight. This one is only at 55% deterrence though, so we shouldn't activate that until we have enough androids to fight it. To fight those, we're going to want to bring in some combat units also, because combat units will just be more valuable in this situation. So let's bring this guy a little closer. I think that unfortunately ends our ability to do anything because we're out of mental energy. So let's advance one more turn. 57. We're going to pick the Marshall expansion. And now we're going to drop one more bulk combat unit here. This one we can stick on top of some other factory. Maybe we'll stick them way up here on top of this building. And we can bring our 2 combat androids closer, just as extra deterrence, because we're not quite sure how this is going to shake down. But let's go ahead and activate the daily necessities flag. So immediately we get 2 combatants coming in with planned attacks. There's a 52 infantry here from our core nexus who are... They see that we're stealing from their bosses and they've got to make an attempt to stop us. So by activating this flag, we dropped down a bulk harvester drone here. And this drone is continuously pulling resources from the local sites. This is sucking up toilet paper from that factory and they want to stop us. There's also 13 grenadiers. Now, since we have bulk combat units in this area, the bulk combat units will just automatically attack any bad guys around them next turn. So they are going to destroy these. If you hover over these, this guy's going to take 120% damage and die. And this guy's going to take... they're not actually firing at him for some reason. But anyway, the reason I brought the combat units was because these guys will also get a chance to attack unless we kill them during our turn. Take that one out there, and then we'll take this guy out if possible, using our regular combat units we brought in for the occasion. Unfortunately, I'm out of moves, so that guy is going to get to do one attack, and he's going to do 28% damage to this poor combat unit here, but I think we'll survive. We have an idea ready at Martial Expansion. We can increase our Neuroweaver robotics, our max android capacity, our android drop shuttle internal robotics, or better repair spiders. Better repair spiders is nice. That will improve our healing in general. But max android capacity is always tempting because that'll let us make more androids. Let's go ahead and end that turn there. We didn't lose our android. He did take some damage. And now, since we're over the deterrence threshold on this, they're not going to spawn any more attacks. But if we move these bulk robots out of there without disabling this flag, they will start sending in contractors to try to destroy our drone, I guess. We're going to do the same thing this flag, the furniture flag. So this one's a little different. This one, we're sending our own drone to collect. This one, it says it invites humans to storm this warehouse and take furnishing for their homes. I guess it's much easier to just tell the humans to come and pick their own furnishings. Incidentally, there's some kind of background activity happening right here. I wonder if that shows up. Maybe, maybe not. No, it doesn't appear to be, unless it's this. Could be this Beacombe's agricultural complaint. So there's some conflict going on there. That may come in. That may come into play later, but for now we're just going to notice that, yeah, there are simulated combats happening all over the city at all times. Let's turn on this flag. Immediately spawned to a Yinshi Wellness Infantry of 45 units and the Yinshi Wellness Grenadier. They're here to stop us stealing their furniture. We're going to take care of them the same way we did their counterparts last turn by shooting them with our nearby combat droids. Okay, and that's going to let these humans who spawned in when we turn the flag in, they're here. You don't know what furniture is needed for human habitation, but it'll let the humans handle it. The group is selecting furniture to furnish several apartments. So this already, one turn, we've given them 40,000 daily necessities, and they're starting to accumulate furniture on their own. If we look at what's going on in the apartments here, it's not totally clear whether that is going to remove some of the filth or not, but I certainly hope so. So far, no real indication of that. All right, just taking a look at our bulk capacity. We can make one more combat unit. I'd like to go ahead and do that. We have a sledge, 2 combats, 3 techs. Let's make. I suppose we could make 2 Nickelbots. Wait, we have 16 points to spend. That would be 1 combat and 1 tech. 2 sledges is an option. Or we could bring our PMC back. I haven't really needed this guy for any reason lately. Let's just bring a regular combat unit back. And just to showcase that we can do it, we could drop him out here in range of the foundry that we built, but we don't have to. We're gonna put him over here near this. We're not gonna make any more. Inside our delivery craft, we have 2 techs waiting for the chance to go and check out these bees and this cat. We still have this guy busy observing the spaceport. Let's go ahead and move this vehicle toward those. And let's drop a tech off to go talk to this cat. Has to be a Nickelbot. Okay, we're good. Well, that's a fail. This guy, however, can go talk to the pollinators, but he also doesn't have enough moves. So we'll leave that there for now. What we're going to do in that case is send the Advena, the Moss Advena foundry ship. Doesn't have enough movement. Oh yeah, it does. Okay, there. That was weird. It just doesn't have a number. Maybe it's because we're on the map. No. Oh, it's because this is open. That's why. Okay. So we're going to send this founder ship out this way. And the reason to do that is so that we can make a nickel bot. We do have... It will take us above cap, unfortunately. And we're going to send him toward the cats. That means we'll spawn him here. For being above cap, I guess what we want to do is get rid of the combat droid that we just... Get rid of this combat droid who's damaged. You're damaged. We don't need you. Scrapped. And then this Nickelbot can go talk to cats. It's going to take him a few turns to get there, so he'll just move a little bit closer. We're out of moves. The other thing we want to remember to do is for this sledge to start trying to break buildings and get Illumina. We'll need some help from the combat units to do that next turn. Idea ready, vehicular development. We are going to increase the support vehicle drone or the combat vehicle drone quality. I think we're gonna do this one. We could also increase armor. That's nice. Or max vehicle capacity. I think we're going to increase combat vehicle drone quality. That will just make drones much more useful on those combat vehicles if we ever do need them. Going to end that turn. We have a 2 missing equipment alarm here. It's because our bulk combat units, we never actually gave them equipment. We're going to give them the new shotguns. We're going to give them pulse revolvers, mill-style armor, and extra range. And the foundry is also missing equipment. It gets an augment, I think, drone command circuit. Gives us better scavenging and drone quality. That seems really nice. Engineering, not really relevant for a vehicle, so let's go ahead and do that one. And let's end that turn. And finally, let's do something about this Illumina. I'm going to bring these drones or droids in range first, just so we have a few bodies. Approved apartments, taking a look at this. We still haven't actually accumulated any furniture, so they're taking their time doing that, but it's happening. Sledge here is going to sledge his way into a building using wall ripper. Right click to start extracting 15 to 1900 Illumina. That immediately made Espia Telecom combat units appear. Oof. Security response team. That was unexpected. They're sending androids. These androids are contracted to contain a security incident and avenge lost property. Okay, not the end of the world. There's only 3 of them. We do have 3 turns to defend here, though, so I'm worried that we might not have enough firepower here. And take out a Nickelbot immediately, and we're out of shots there. This guy has 2 shots, 1 here and 1 here. We're going to need a couple more. Luckily, the cutter is up above and can provide 2 shots here. Let's see, the combat unit doesn't have any armor or anything. Yeah, there's not really any enhancements we have, so hopefully those 2 shots are enough, and it certainly was. So we will continue there, and it seems like we're in good hands. We're out of points there. It's sort of time to end the episode, so I'm going to leave it there. Next turn we will continue extracting Illumina. We're going to go and see what these slum cats are about and what these pollinators are about, and hopefully we'll get furniture into the apartments and improve our brain and come to build the Bastion eventually. I hope you've been enjoying this series. Let me know in the comments. Please consider clicking that like button and subscribing to the channel. I hope to see you next time. This has been Corknut playing Heart of the Machine. Bye for now.